Well, here I am, I'm back. Oh, I don't know. I get the Christmas garb on here, so it's being done in December. This thing's on sort of inside out or something like that, I don't know. But anyway, what am I doing here? Well, I just want to talk about one of these. You know what it is, it's a Gibson. I like Gibsons, I think they're great things. Irrespective of where the wood comes from, these are the dogs. So you want one of these, but, well, what's this one? Well, I decided to buy one of those guitars that anybody can buy. And this one happens to be a 2012 Gibson Les Paul. Pretty standard. It's got a few mods on it, actually made by Gibson. And it reminds me a lot of the Jimmy Page Les Paul that if you check my channel, you'll see that reviewed on the channel. But this is cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. And I just thought to get it out, show you what I did, why I did it. I did some mods of my own, by the way. I wasn't too happy with some of it, which I'm going to cover in a minute or two. So let's get it out of the thing it comes with, because it's not like the old cases, and see what we get for the money. It's near enough, by the way, speaking of money, it's knocking on for £2,000 less. That's $3,000 in the UK. They're a lot cheaper in America, but I'm not in America. I have to put up with the greedy, well, let's just call them greedy. The boys that take 20% of everything we earn. Anyway, onto the guitar. Well, here it is. The Les Paul Standard of 2012. This one's got quite a lot of features on it that are not immediately obvious, but they become obvious when you start to play it. First of all, you've got these knobs, a bit like the Jimmy Page, they pull in and out. In fact, almost identical to the Jimmy Page, so that's that out of the way. We've got burst Booker 2s in here, they say. One here and one here, and I'll come back to that in a bit because I want to talk about that. I've done some modifications on this guitar that actually make it sound like a Les Paul should, as opposed to what you get when you buy it. It's nitrocellulose, so it's a nice finish. As you can see on the top, it's a really cool top, and this is just the average run-of-the-mill Les Paul Standard, which is it's really nice. It's also very light, and part of the reason that it's light is that it's chambered. Well, you know, if you'd speak to guys about chambering, particularly on Les Pauls, they often say, oh, they don't sound the same. They're just not the same guitar. I want the solid one. Well, that's great when you're younger. When you're as old as me, I mean, look at me, I'm falling apart. It's heavy. So this one isn't heavy. So that's one of the reasons I bought it. But that chambering stuck in my mind, and I thought I'd do a little bit of homework on the chambering, just to see if I was getting what everybody criticised historically. And I'm not getting the same thing. Actually, this guitar has been reworked, for want of a better word, by Gibson, so that the chambering is completely different than it was on the older chambered models, if you follow me. And that's covered on their website if you want to go and have a look at that. So that's one thing out of the way. It's also had a neck that's been what they call plecked, P-L-E-K-D, plecked. Well, what's that about? Well, when they fit the neck and they decide they're setting these frets up, they put the guitar in a machine that's computer controlled, and it cuts the nut and does a real cool job of making the frets where they should be. If you know what I mean. So it's got a really cool action on it, and it doesn't choke off like a lot of Les Pauls. I thought that was quite good for a standard Les Paul that you're not paying any extra for, so to speak. Well, no more extra than the extra between the painted one and the top that you get here. Well, what did I do? Well, these humbuckers straight off are what they call burst Booker 2s. And you know, Alnico this or Alnico that, or if that's how you pronounce it, different magnets basically. And the magnets go some way towards affecting the tone. I didn't like the burst Booker 2, and I'll tell you for why. Because if you play a Les Paul, for the years that I have, it didn't sound like a Les Paul. It sounded like, dare I say it, one of the earlier 50s Les Pauls, where those pickups used to be scatter wound. A bit like bare knuckle pickups, in fact. They're scatter wound. Well, what happens? Well, what happens with a scatter wound pickup is that the capacitance inside the windings changes, and that will make the pickup, if it's scatter wound, a more trebly pickup, more toppy pickup. You don't get that growl that you're used to, or I'm used to, from getting from a Les Paul. So I've got the weight relief, I've got the great looks of it, I've got nitrocellulose finish on here, which is, and it's thin and it's great. And all these options for the switches, all on a standard Les Paul, but it didn't have the sound. So what did I do? Well, just, hey, hold on a minute. Let me get and show you what I did. Hold on. Well, here I am back. This is what I did. I went out and I bought another pickup. And some people say to me, they say, oh, but Tony, you know, them Burstbuckers, them Burstbucker 2s, them are the best pickups in the world, you know, for a Les Paul. They're the dogs. Well, guess what? No, they're not. You get them, whether you want them or you don't want them, on this model, and if you don't want them, go and buy a different one. This is the Burstbucker 2, actually, because the one that was in this packet here, if you can see that, was a 498T, which is a run-of-the-mill, standard, it's all the turkey, all the very standard Gibson 498T, chrome cover, IM9, 8TCH, and there it is. That's it, that's what you get for your money. So I bought one of them on eBay, I ripped this bloody thing out, this Burstbucker 2, put it in the box, and put the 498 in here. Now that's not so easy, because when you're doing that, the problem is that Gibson have now started fitting these little connectors on the end. Bit of a pain in the neck, because the pickups they supply don't have them. So you're left with a connector and the wire and the pickup on the Burstbucker 2, and you've got to go snip, and then you've got to solder it all onto that one, which is what I did. So back there is a 498T, and I can tell you now, there's no question, this guitar sounds better, and you're going to hear it a bit later on, because I'm going to play this, maybe on the video, but maybe on an accompanying video. It depends how the time goes. I've got to get in there and eat the Christmas pudding. Oh, hey, and for that drummer guy who came on and said, hey, you know, you guys, you've got fetishes with guitars and all the rest of that crap. Listen, I banned him. I can't take any more of people like that. Listen, I like guitars. You go play with your drums or something. I don't know. Well, there's something else I did too. Before I went to the extreme of doing this, I thought to myself, you know, if only I could take a bit of that treble off and make this guitar sound like a real Gibson Les Paul. Oh, it is a real Gibson Les Paul. Anyway, you know what I mean. So what I did is I flipped the guitar over. I'm getting old. Took the 4 screws out, and inside there these days there's a PCB. Nothing wrong with that. PCB's cool. So I traced it all through, and there's 2 capacitors, one for that one and one for that one. I found the capacitor for this one, and I snipped it out, and I put a standard capacitor in that a Les Paul should have. It didn't make a bean of difference. So don't waste your time doing that. If you want to change the tone on this thing, change the pickup. Get one of these, they're much better. That's the story of the pickups, and that's actually the story of the, oh, he's resting his head. Is he drunk? It's the story also of the capacitor. So don't waste your time on capacitors, it doesn't really work. I've seen that in rock and rollers somewhere, I don't know. Okay, well, what else we got? Well, what else we've got is a standard plug for your lead, which is nice. Remember the one on the 2008 to 2012? Remember that? That was awful. You've also got everything else that's pretty standard at the back of this thing. There's nothing out of the way here. You know what it is. You've got 3 holes with that for that switch and 4 pin. Sorry. You've got 3 holes for that switch there, and you got 3 screws for that one there, and you got 4 screws for that one there, and they pull off and you can see the little wires and things inside. Big deal. Let's not bore ourselves with that. What I will say though about this guitar and its neck is it's like a 1960 neck, which is very nice. It's nice and thin, and plays awesome with that pleck. What else we got? Well, let me move the camera around and I'll show you the top. There you go, that's better. That's got rid of me. I don't look very nice even in the daylight, do I? But there's a shot of the Les Paul 2012. Probably like the one that you'll buy if you buy one, and not like the one if you don't. I thought the top on this one was better than the other ones at the shop. Some of them were awful. This one was good. Same money, fancy that. Looking at the neck, let's just bring that round a bit and move this down. There we go. Looking at the neck, you get everything that you'd expect to get. Looks like a sort of rosewoody type of thing. The inlays are good, there's no filling that I can see. Everything's standard, it's all pretty run of the mill. So let's go on and look at the back of the neck. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, the headstock. What you got on here is, these are Grovers, and they're locking. That's nice. So you've got locking Grovers, you've got the pleck neck, and you've got the fixed bit at the bottom where your strings go through. So once it gets in tune, it's going to be pretty much in tune and stay in tune. At least that's what I found with it as well. It's very difficult to talk a lot about a Les Paul because a Les Paul's a Les Paul, a Les Paul often. You just get these nuances of which one feels better and which one sounds better. This one to me sounds absolutely great. Now I fixed it. Gibson would tell me I haven't fixed it, but here I did. The back's covered in your average black, a bit like a Ford I guess, and the joint at the neck's pretty cool as well. What you'd expect from Gibson really. I didn't find anything particularly nasty on this one regarding quality either. I've had some Les Pauls. I had basically a a Supreme. Great looking guitar, played pretty well as well, but it wasn't really set up in the way that I like to play. So I sold it in the end, which is a pity, I guess, but that's what I did. And I've had to spend a bit on this one. Don't forget that. That's something you might well have to do yourself. You might like burst bucket twos and a whole bucket of treble. I don't. Well, I'm back. Yeah, it's got to go away one of these days. Probably will go away when I do. Well, it's a quick review. I don't want to spend all day on it because everybody knows what a Les Paul is, and if you don't, well, you're a Fender player. Don't worry, you'll grow out of that. Not much more to say. Personally, I think this Les Paul standard, completely standard, except for what I did. It's worth every penny. I've had Les Pauls that have cost twice this, and they're pretty crap really. But this one feels, sounds, looks, plays like a Gibson Les Paul should. But don't forget that mod, and it costs you money to do it. Unless you sell the other pickup afterwards. I'm sure loads of people will want burst bucket twos after this review. Maybe they'll just come down in price, who knows. So there you have it. I'll be doing a quick demonstration, maybe on this video, and I'll be just blasting this out through that Joe Satriani app, just to see what it sounds like, and maybe through the YJM, who knows. Won't be anything special, but that's what I'm going to do. Hope you like the guitar. It's another review from TonyMcKenzie.com. Don't forget, by the way, go and look on the website because I'll be doing a written review, which is always better than these piddling little simple videos I do. The written reviews cover much more. See you soon. Oh, one last thing. Have a great Christmas. If it's Christmas when you're watching. If it isn't, tough. I'm going to eat the turkey. See you later.